takes over. And so Captain Chuchis leads the way by a length and a half. He is now backing off, and on the outside, Stick Shift continues to put the pressure on. Stick Shift and Captain Chuchis head and head as they make their way onto the backstretch. He is racing in third. Daddy Justify 3.5 off the pace in fourth. They're followed by Bearings fifth, 4 lengths off the lead, racing 4 lengths clear of the 2 trailers, Mongolian Gold and Track and Field. They have a half-mile left to go, and Captain Chuchis, prominent throughout, leads the way by a half length, 3/4 now to Stick Shift, who's trying to keep pace in second. Daddy Justify has been passed by Bearings. Bearings on the move third, has 3 to make up, less than 3 furlongs out. He drops out of it. Mongolian Gold just went by him. They're a 1/4 mile from home, and Captain Chuchis has been there every step of the way. Leads it now by 3.5 lengths. Stick Shift could not keep pace. Bearings on the outside third. Daddy Justify has been eased. 3/16 of a mile to go, and Captain Chuchis clear by 4 lengths. Now it's 5 coming to the 16th pole. Bearings has moved into second, but it's a 1-horse race. Captain Chuchis, another for Diego Herrera, just coasting along on the front end, reports home 6 lengths clear. Second to Bearings, followed by Stick Shift, third to Mongolian Gold. We're in the gate, and they're off. Vronsky Feint, Highlands. Here comes Sariha, and Sariha intent on getting to the front and is able to do just that. Empresselli now third, Bold Daughter fourth. They're followed by Classy Mademoiselle. Inside Highlands, who was closer earlier, and Chasing Serendipity is at the back. Sariha makes it over to the fence and leads the way by 2 over Vronsky Feint in second. Another 3 lengths back to Empresselli in third, joined on the outside by Bold Daughter fourth and 4 lengths off the lead. Classy Mademoiselle, Highlands second to last, 2 clear of Chasing Serendipity. 8 lengths covers them onto the backstretch, and it's Sariha 3/4 of a length, prompted by Vronsky Feint second. 3 more to a well-settled Empresselli in third, joined at the rail by Classy Mademoiselle, with Bold Daughter back to fifth, 5 off the lead. Then Highlands, and at the back is Chasing Serendipity, and a little tad tight too. Around the far turn, it's Sariha by 2 lengths over Vronsky Feint second. Classy Mademoiselle moves into third. Empresselli trying to match strides with her. 2 lengths back comes Highlands, racing in the 5th spot. Bold Daughter is next, and Chasing Serendipity. They're turning for home with Sariha to catch, maintaining a 3-length lead. Vronsky Feint, Classy Mademoiselle, followed by Empresselli in fourth, and Chasing Serendipity trying to pick it up late 16th pole. Sariha 2-length lead. Classy Mademoiselle with a final try. It's going to be Sariha winning by a half length. Classy Mademoiselle finished with interest. Empresselli was third. It's a photo for fourth. Place or show wagering, win only in the upcoming 6. Scratch numbers 2 and 4. They'll be at the gate in 21 minutes. We're in the gate. And they're off. Pure Madness bounces out beautifully. Special Club hustled for early speed, and Speed Grazy will be at the back through the early stages. So Special Club and Juan Hernandez cutting the corner and trying to put some pressure on heavily favored Pure Madness, but Pure Madness is naturally a little bit faster and will lead the way to the 6 furlong pole. So it's Pure Madness just in front. Special Club and neck back second. 2 more Speed Grazy, a slight steady in that first turn, but has settled down and is only 2 lengths off the pace, which is being set by Pure Madness. Pure Madness, under a tight hold from Victor Espinoza, leads at a half length to Special Club, who's trying to keep pace along the rail in second, back within ahead of the front runner. And those two now on even terms. Special Club gets those red blinkers in front as they head toward the half-mile pole. So it's Special Club just in front. Pure Madness on the outside, and splitting them is Speed Grazy. So three of them line up into the far turn. Special Club, Speed Grazy in the blue, and Pure Madness. Noses separate these three, and Pure Madness once again asserts himself and is in front, coming to the quarter pole. It's Pure Madness, Special Club, a half length back in second. Speed Grazy in the blue is third. They're at the top of the stretch. Pure Madness lets it out a notch, opens up a couple on Special Club, trying to fend off Speed Grazy. The question, who completes the exacta past the eighth pole, as Pure Madness is towering over them. Pure Madness striding out professionally, and the future is bright for Pure Madness, winning by 6-7 lengths. Then it was Speed Grazy and Special Club. Seventh race is up next in 23 minutes. Scratch numbers 1 and 6. In the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Hard-headed, Sketchy along the rail, and here's Uncle Happy joining them nicely, and Uncle Happy up to take the lead. So it's Uncle Happy just in front. Sketchy is racing in second. Then Promisio racing in between horses, a joint third, and steadying along the rail is Hard-headed, who is now a joint third. It's another two back to Rostam and Vibe, racing on the outside of American Glory, and 5 lengths back to an unhurried Grogu. Onto the back stretch. They're chasing Sketchy, who has it by 3/4 of a length. Uncle Happy tracking comfortably in second. Then it's Hard-headed in third. Promisio in between horses fourth. Rostam and Vibe moves up all the way up to claim that third spot, coming to the half-mile pole. Grogu is now just 4 lengths off the lead, and the gray American Glory inside of him. They've taken closer orders. Sketchy, Uncle Happy looming alongside second. 2 more Rostam and Vibe on the outside of Hard-headed. They're followed by Promisio. Grogu caught 4 deep, 3 clear of American Glory. Approaching the quarter pole, Sketchy, Uncle Happy set down. Rostam and Vibe outside of them. Grogu continues on the far outside. Hard-headed is down at the rail, saving ground, looking for room now. They're in the final furlong, and Sketchy clinging to the lead, a length and a half. Hard-headed gets a clear shot now, and Hard-headed is lengthening stride. They're coming to 16th pole. Sketchy, Hard-headed on the outside with the momentum. Here's the line. Hard-headed. What a beautiful ride from Umberto Rispoli, nailing Sketchy, who just missed. 3-way photo among Grogu, Promisio, and Uncle Happy. Back to Rostam and Vibe, racing on the outside of American Glory, and 5 lengths back to an unhurried Grogu. Onto the back stretch. They're chasing the last one to load. And they're off, and Montana is very quick. What a Dude hustled hard for speed. Seattle Breakout is down at the rail. Then Vanzi and Fly the Sky into the first turn, and Seattle Breakout is up on the inside to be on even terms with What a Dude. Montana outside of them, passed by Vanzi. And at the back of the field is Fly the Sky. 4 lengths covers them, coming to the 6 furlong pole. And it's Seattle Breakout, prompted by What a Dude, who's just a neck back in second. 2 more lengths to Montana and Vanzi, third and fourth. Vanzi under a hold along the inside, 3 lengths off the pace. 2 more to Fly the Sky. Past the 5/8 pole. Seattle Breakout. There's room for Vanzi, and Vanzi pushes right through along the inside. And it's Abel Cedillo and Vanzi coming right after the front runners and taking the lead now with a half-mile left to travel. Vanzi, the new leader. Seattle Breakout a neck away second. What a Dude now 2 back third. Then Montana and Fly the Sky is at the back of the field. 3 furlongs out. Vanzi, Seattle breakout, trying to cling to him in second. 2.5 more. What a Dude is in third, but losing ground. Followed by Montana. Nothing yet from Fly the Sky. Past the quarter pole and turning for home. On the outside, Seattle breakout, not done. He's putting Vanzi to the test. Vanzi, Seattle breakout gets the lead at the 8th pole. Vanzi resilient along the rail as Fly the Sky takes third. Vanzi has something left with a 16th to go and turns away Seattle breakout now. Another for Abel Cedillo as Vanzi proves too strong. Seattle breakout second, Fly the Sky third, then Montana. They're in the gate. And they're off. Kiss for Lulu out quickly. Blame the Classic is up close in the early stages. And they are joined by I'll Have Another One on the far outside. And Caught in the Dark is down at the rail, prominent too. So they move into the first turn, and it's Caught in the Dark. The pace very honest in the opening furlongs. Leads it by 2 to Blame the Classic. I'll Have Another One 3 deep in third, followed by Freak Potato in fourth. Kiss for Luck shuffles back a couple of spots behind High Plains Drifter inside Wasting Aces. At the back of the field, Fight Back and Topper's Wager trails, covered by a dozen down the backstretch, led by Caught in the Dark, who has it 3/4 of a length. I'll Have Another One cruising up alongside in second while under a nice hold. 2 more back to Blame the Classic in third with a half mile to travel. Fleet Bertato is in fourth, High Plains Drifter fifth. Here's Fight Back inching forward, needs to find some racing room, does Fight Back, has 5 to make up into the far turn. Kiss for Lulu is down at the rail. Topper's Wager between rivals and Wasting Aces trails. I'll Have Another One takes over, cruises to the quarter pole with a 2-length lead on Blame the Classic in second, and Fight Back starts to rev up, getting clear sailing on the outside third. They're at the top of the stretch. I'll Have Another One with a 2-length lead in the center. Fight Back and Blame the Classic is in the thick of it too. Down at the rail, Fleet Bertato. I'll Have Another One shifting about while holding the lead, has a 2-length advantage over Blame the Classic in the final stages. I'll Have Another One, and Kyle Frey winning it by 2.5 lengths. Second went to Blame the Classic. Fight Back in a photo with Fleet Bertato and Topper's Wager.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural running of the California Crown. It's going to be a spectacular day of racing here in Southern California. Of course, the marquee race is race number 9, the $1 million California Crown Stakes, presented by Sir Davis American Whiskey. It's a Breeders' Cup winning your in classic division race. Certainly a lot of excitement both on track and off track as well, because we've got a lot of music acts as well. And one person who I don't know if it's a singer or not, but I know he's a great track announcer. He's sitting next to me. His name, Frank Mirahmadi. Frankie, happy California Crown Day. Welcome back home.
It's beautiful to be back, and what a spectacular day, entertainment, getting the young people out here, and this is what it's all about. We've had a tremendous amount of success with similar program out with the Pegasus at Gulfstream Park, and hats off to management for spending a lot of money to entertain our fans and to bring in new fans. That's what we have to do in this game. And so this is a huge, huge afternoon at Santa Anita Park.
Shabuzi, Lil Yachty, Griffin are some of the music acts, which begs the question, are you a singer? Like when you're stuck in LA traffic, do you crank up the music on the radio and maybe sing along, or is that not one of your many talents?
Well, I believe if the music is on, you should allow the artist to strut their stuff. And so I prefer to listen to those that are experts in the field. So I will once in a while hum along, sing along a little bit, but for the most part, let's let the talent come out and enjoy them.
Well, there'll be plenty of people singing along here on track. And of course, it's going to be covered both by FanDuel as well as CNBC and Peacock. Beautiful. A lot of excitement when you walked in, right? You mentioned it's kind of like a Pegasus World Cup day. You can feel it. Certainly a lot more atmosphere, so to speak, than a regular race day.
No question. We have the media out here and did a nice little interview with KTLA Morning News. Had some fun there with Carlos this morning out of Clocker's Corner, and showing some of the great food that Rosie serves on a daily basis for so long. And so just letting people get familiar. I just saw on the way over to the studio over here, there were some pop-ups, including Prince Street Pizza. They didn't have cheese pizza, which I would have certainly said, hey, don't forget the people that like the plain cheese traditional slice. Reminds me of the days at Hollywood Park. The International Food Fair over there only served pepperoni pizza. So I spent a lot of my childhood pulling pepperonis off the pizza. But still, it's nice to see great food items and a wide variety, because that's what different fans like, different things. So I think we're going to get some incredible response from our fans today.
And one of the objectives of the California Crown, let's face it, is to bring new faces and new people to the racetrack, because it's more than just the racing, right? It's more the atmosphere. It's more the music talent that we have, obviously. Shabuzi has been #1 on the Billboard Top 100 for the last 11 weeks. So his music is very popular with mainstream, and that's what we want to do, is try and attract more of the mainstream society to our wonderful sport. Begs the question, we've got a couple of jockeys in from out of town as well, who you saw ride on a regular basis at Saratoga, Johnny V and Flavien Prat. I wanted to talk to you first about Johnny V. In my opinion, the race of the year so far was the Travers Stakes, where Fierceness beat Torpeda Anna. And I thought the difference was Johnny V. Now, he's up in age, but make no mistake, he is still a grade 1 jockey that can deliver in big moments.
I'm amazed that you bring that up, because we don't have a pregame discussion.
There's no script.
There's no script here. The one thing I was going to try to convey to the fans today was, even though I may not have picked him every race, beware of Johnny V. Don't leave him off your tickets, because he's an assassin and he's coming here to win. And he is just absolutely, I mean, you talk about a man who is focused. And look, as we get older, everything's supposedly supposed to get more difficult. And for him, it doesn't seem like it is. He's still just absolutely on top of his game. He's brilliant. His ride in the Travers that you talked about was so incredible. And I had the privilege, thanks to Jason Blewett, who invited me to a post-race party. That was a nice fortuitous, passing of one another toward the exit. He invited me to go with the team that won that race. And I had a chance to ask Johnny, and he went into an in-depth description of that ride. And at first, I mean, down the backstretch, I thought this horse was going to gallop. But in reality, I learned a lot more from talking to Johnny, that he had his eye on Torpedo Anna the whole time, trying to keep her. He knew that she had run. And he also knew how to take care of Dornick, who was right in front of him. So he seemed like he had Dornick, but he had to make his move to put him away. But he was worried about her the whole time. And I was stunned that he would be that aware of how much horse she had, because I was wondering myself, she's 4th, she's 3 lengths off them. Is she really going to be able to close into these boys? So his ride and his description of that ride just is a reminder of, there's a reason that Hall of Famers get to be on the favorites and get the better mounts, because in the end, a great jockey cannot make a slow horse win, but a great jockey will make a difference, Tom. In the difference in that race was what? A diminishing head, and he had to do everything right in order to hold her off. That race was an absolute epic.
And speaking of assassins, we know Flavien very well out here on the West Coast, but make no mistake, in my opinion, he showed everybody in the country what he was made of during the Saratoga meet. He finished second in the jockey standings to our Red Ortiz. He wound up winning 45 races, but more importantly, he led the jockey colony in earnings. He earned $6.6 million. That was because he basically won almost every stakes race. I'm exaggerating, but nevertheless, he had a very, very successful summer at Saratoga. You even had to be impressed knowing what his talents were out here.
I've been very familiar with his work, obviously from Southern California, but he went to the big stage there, and he actually set a record in the history of Saratoga. Nobody has won more stakes races in a meet than Flavien did this year. And so that just answers all questions. Look, he's earned the respect of horsemen and players nationwide. And, his agent, Brad Pegram, I'm very good friends with Jim Pegram, and Jim always sends me a text after those little photo finishes, and he says, you can't pass him. And there's something about him. When he's in front of you, it's very, very hard to get by. And, you think of guys like Lafitte Pink Eye in that regard, or Angel Cordero in that regard, that when they're in front of you, you're not going to get to them. But Flavien is just, he's on the top of his game. And look, it's always fun to see riders that I've had the privilege of calling here and at Los Alamitos, and to see his ascent to greatness. And of course, the Red Ortiz also, put on his own clinic over there too. It was a nice event for the jockeys out there. It's fun when you watch the big races such as what we have here today, to see the biggest jockeys, the biggest horses on the biggest stage, because that ultimately you hope for horses to get smooth trips and may the best connections win. But sometimes those jockeys make a tremendous difference, because think about it. 1 second is 5 lengths. There are jockeys that overcome a lot more than 5 lengths of trouble, but certainly within 1 or 2 lengths, or a neck or a head, that is a difference maker. And you have to have the horse. You can't ride a slow horse and make them good, but it's fun to watch these guys and gals at the top of their game.
Frank Mirahmadi is at the top of his game. He's going to throw 10 fastballs today. That's because we've got 10 races. More importantly, right now, he's going to give us the early changes on today's card. When we resume, we'll find out who Frank likes on today's card. Stay tuned for the early changes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to California Crown Day at Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf course is firm. Here are the early changes. In the first race, start of the early pick 5, the rail on the turf is at 0 feet, no scratches or jockey changes. We do also begin rolling doubles with race 1. The second race kicks off the early pick 4, and there are no changes. No scratches or jockey changes in race number 3. In the fourth race, there's a middle pick 4 being offered on races 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just the one blinker note. In the fifth race, it's leg 1 of the all stakes pick 5. On races 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Keep in mind that pick 5 on races 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And the start of the $2 pick 6. Scratch number 1, Dreamfire. And then the program scratches of 2 and 5. Race 6, program scratch of number 2. And scratch number 3, Maria Tall Chief. Scratch 2 and 3 out of the 6th. Start of the 50-cent late pick 5. The 7th is the California Crown John Henry Turf Championship, presented by First Bet. No scratches or jockey changes. This is leg 1 of the 2-day pick 6. It's a $1 2-day pick 6. And leg 1 of the all-turf pick 3, which is on races 7, 8, and 10. Excellent and very wide wagering menu this afternoon. The 8th race is the California Crown Eddie D Stakes, presented by FanDuel, with a purse of $750,000 guaranteed. The $3 late pick 3 starts with race number 8. No scratches or jockey changes. The 9th and featured event is the California Crown Stakes presented by Sir Davis American Whiskey. It's a $1 million guaranteed purse and a Breeders' Cup win, and you're in for the Classic Division. Scratch number 7, indispensable. There is a $5 late daily double that started this meet on races 9 and 10. And the 10th is the City of Hope Mile, presented by My Racehorse. A Breeders' Cup win, and you're in for the mile division. Scratch number 2, Irideo. And note that there is a super high 5 only on race number 10. It's a $1 wager. Those are the early changes for California Crown Day. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place, where post time for the first is in 57 minutes at 12:30.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Frank Mirahmadi. He's the track announcer right here at the Great Race Place. It's our pleasure to have his time before he embarks on a very, very busy day for not only himself, but horse players all around the country. What a field sizes and what a great betting opportunities, as Frank described as he was giving out the changes. So before we talk about today's 10-race card, Frank, just a couple of quick housekeeping points. First one, we talked about those additional wagers as it relates to California Crown. Here's a graphic of some of the new wagers that are being offered both today and tomorrow. The most important thing to note is on the left-hand side on the bottom of the graphic. All of these wagers have a low 15% takeout. They're very player friendly. Take a look at the $1 California Crown All Stakes Pick 5. That starts today, of course, and ends today on all 5 stake races. That's a tremendous wagering opportunity. $1 minimum Pick 5 with a 15% takeout. And you can see the remainder of those as well, including the 2-day All Graded Stakes Pick 6 that also is a $1 minimum. So take advantage of those special wagers. Also today, for very hardcore horse players, is the $6,000 buy-in for the California Crown one-day handicapping tournament today. We're offering Breeders' Cup betting challenge seats, National Handicapping Championships seats, Pegasus World Cup seats as well. It's a live betting event. You keep what you win, plus you earn prize money if you finish near the top of the leaderboard. You can play that both on track here and nationwide at expressbet.com. So if you're looking to partake in some heavy-duty action today, I would strongly encourage you to play in the California Crown handicapping tournament. Okay, Frankie, race number 1 kicks off another popular wager, the 50-cent early Pick 5, and it's a good race. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course for fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than the rails are at 0 feet. As you mentioned, no scratches. The morning line favorite is the current betting choice at 5-2. That would be number 4, Party On Girl. Give us your thoughts on race 1.
She's certainly consistent and can win this race. I thought this was probably, I'm going to say it's the most difficult race on the card. If there was ever time for the all box, it's right here. This is, you can make cases for so many in here. I'm going to land on number 6, Ivory Moon, who has been well backed throughout her young career, never higher than 9-2 on the tote board. She is 12-1 on the morning line and moves to the barn of Peter Miller. Comes out of a race where the 3rd and 4th place finishers return to score in their next starts. Has shown tactical speed in the past with her victory 3 starts back, as well as her debut victory in wire-to-wire fashion. So I think that, you know, there's some versatility there. First time Peter Miller is always a very strong angle coming out of a productive race. And more importantly, you're going to get a huge price here on a horse that is one of many with a chance. The number 1, Ange and Ash, is in good form as well, looking for the hat trick. Claimed last time 2 starts back away from George Papadroma, who won a couple yesterday, and ends up in the barn of Hector Palma, who won with her right back. So this is a very good investment for himself. And I was also thought that the 10, Asada Fries, a very nice Calbred, turning back in distance to 6 furlongs, could be a late threat. And as you look through the field, there are many cases that can be made throughout. So I'm going to tell you that if there was a race to spread to start your pick 5, and I've always felt this way on multi-race wagers, I think that if you looked, I don't have the stats and things of such, but if you beat the favorites in the first leg of these multi-race wagers, for some reason I just think that really adds as opposed to beating the favorite later. And that's just an informal thing from just watching over the years. And I think you might be able to beat the favorite in the opener, although the favorite certainly figures as a contender.
Beat the chalk in race number 1. 6-1 is what Frank Mirahmadi likes. Number 6, Ivory Moon, his top choice, has already won this condition. She broke this condition back in early January at Gulfstream Park. That's why she's in for the $50,000 tag, but she's already won this condition. Interesting long shot play for Frank's top choice in race number 1. Let's turn the page, Frank. Take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for maiden special weight 2-year-olds. We've got a field of 6. Number 3, Kalia Bay from the Bob Baffert barn, is the heavy 2-5 morning line favorite. Can you beat the chalk here?
I'm going to try to, because I've always had a theory about top trainers with 2-year-olds and with the youngsters. If they get beat twice, and this horse looked home free and was beaten by a very nice first-time starter from Michael McCarthy last time out, a son of Gunrunner too. So it's not like this horse was disgraced, well clear of the rest. Certainly this horse should win, but do you really need to get 2-5, 1-5 on a horse like this? I'm just going to take a shot and hope that the first-time starter, number 5, Day and Age, a son of Omaha Beach, who campaigned under the great care of Richard Mandela and now is one of the nice stallions over at Spendthrift, will be ready at first asking. Out of a mare who ran 5 times at age 2, was 4 second-place finishes out of those 5 starts. It was 2 for 18 overall, 7 in the money performances. When you look at the dam, Skipaloot, she was second in her debut in a maiden special weight, Churchill Downs. And then in her 3rd start, she got beat a nose by a filly that many may remember out there named Paula Silver Lining. She was a very nice stakes filly. Her mare, his mare, Day and Age's Dam, ended up finishing 2nd in the Grade 2 Matron early in her career. So there is some, precocity in that pedigree line, but this horse will have to be a stone cold runner to beat the favorite. I went 5-3. The other first-time starters in here, just if you're interested out there, the 6 Missile Cruiser, 3 for 5 Dam, but all 3 wins were routes. The number 1, Amadou 2, out of a mare who won 10 of 37 starts, was a very nice animal in the Northwest and Emerald and such. And number 2, Smartier, the only sibling, did win its debut. So those are some interesting lines for the others. But to me, it looks like either 3-5 or 5-3. I'll take a shot. It's hard to pick the 3 after 2 defeats at very, very low odds.
Good news for your top selection, Frank. Number 5, Day and Age, is one of 2 runners in the field that Clocker Andy Harrington and NationalTurf.com likes coming into their debut effort. So certainly the Clockers, and I know you don't consult those workout reports before you provide your selections on the seminar, but Day and Age is one of the runners that Andy Harrington, who will be my seminar guest tomorrow, does prefer in race number 2. Nice. Race number 3, we're going 2 turns on the turf course, 1 mile the distance for maiden special weights. We've got a field of 8. Spycatcher, the 5-year-old maiden from the Mark Glatt barn, who runs well but never seems to get the diploma, is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Another vulnerable favorite here.
I'm taking him. It's the time is now.
Now or never.
Yeah, they should just put that music on right at the starting gate. Put aside.
Well, we got lots of music going on.
Yeah,
so.
just change the tune for 1 minute. Just cue up. It's now or never for Spycatcher. This is the time. Enough is enough. This horse has been knocking on the door. Second, third, second.
$206,000 in earnings as a maiden. What's wrong with that?
That's nice. That's nice. I think he has to win today. The second pick I went with is a horse named Dirago, trained by Bob Hess Jr. Bob did text me this pronunciation, so I always give a little extra special consideration to pronunciation requests because hopefully they're trying to.
They're accurate.
Yeah. They're not. Yeah. First of all, yes, I got some inaccurate ones recently, which is always fun. It makes me not want to ask people, but when they volunteer it, no matter whether it's right or wrong, I'm going to go with them. But Dirago comes in off a good effort in a debut. In a big field over at Dundalk in Ireland. A lot of these horses end up getting purchased and coming out to the United States. We'll see what this one can do, trying the grass for the first time. But Spycatcher is one of those horses that the time should be now.
8 and 6 in race 3. Let's take a look at race number 4. Begins the 50-cent middle pick 4. That's right. We're offering a 50-cent middle pick 4 on today's 10 race card. And we kick things off here in race 4, going 1 mile on the main track. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. A field of 7. Bob Baffert saddles the morning line favorite here. Number 2, Cornell, ridden by Juan Hernandez. Jeff Siegel says 5-2. What does Frank Mirahmadi say?
I say that I'm going to try to beat this horse with the 3 Pony Express, who really caught some eyes when graduating here by 9 lengths back in June, right before we closed out the long meet here at Santa Anita Park. They thought so much of him, they sent him right in against the big hitters in the Jim Dandy back east, and then came back in the Shared Belief and, met the likes of Muth and such, and Imagination and Dispensable. So he was overmatched. The question is, can he shake off those defeats and bounce back here in a much softer spot? I will say that he does get Lasix back again in this allowance condition as opposed to in stakes competition. Perhaps this horse has an issue that will be resolved with the resumption of Lasix. And Pony Express, I just thought with that huge performance, if he can come back, he finds a field that I think that performance would have made him the favorite in this race if it was his next start. But after getting drilled twice, we have to ask ourselves a lot of questions. The number 7, Mystic Spirit, takes the blinkers off for trainer Michael McCarthy with the aforementioned John Velasquez aboard. I think this is a horse that, should be there or thereabouts, has been alternating between turf and dirt, gets back to the main track. And as Eddie Logan, leader that you are and participant that I am, what about our man Radar Rob with Brazenly? This horse is a very good-looking horse. I would say this. When he comes out of the post parade, it's going to be hard to beat him looks-wise. And he is honest, and I'm really happy for Rob to get that resounding victory at Del Mar last time out, following getting defeated pretty soundly by Mystic Spirit. But Brazenly is an honest horse and has outrun his odds on a regular basis. But I went 3-7 in that order. And again, I'm not saying Cornell can't win, but for the value and the price, I'd have to choose elsewhere.
Question for you. You're a football fan. Was Pony Express the nickname given to the SMU football team when Eric Dickerson and those guys
used to
play?
I'm actually I should know that because I'm a big fan of SMU. I love those offenses with no defense. Those are always fun. You get 50 points and lose. It's always a good experience, but it could very well be. I am definitely a fan, so I should have known that answer. But if it was a game show, the answer would be bzz.
Speaking of game shows, that brings up a very interesting question. The day after we closed here at Santa Anita, you were seen publicly on The Price is Right.
Come on down.
And that was obviously unexpected. You were just going as an audience member. I mean, you're a fan.
Grudgingly gave way to that.
But I mean, you did well.
I did. I was lucky. If you get on that thing, you want to win.
And it turns out that Drew Carey knows a little bit about horse racing.
He talked a little bit about it.
He knew enough to be dangerous.
He's a cool guy, a very nice man.
So we'll see in Hawaii. Is that the plan?
Well, you gave me some dates that are ideal, and so I had to submit 3 sets of dates.
First-time visitor to the
first. I've never been to Hawaii.
Yeah,
and I did follow your
recommendation.
Yeah, you sent me some long emails, a couple of manifestos in there about what to do, where to go, what games to watch.
You're a good salesman.
Well, we sent it in. Good.
Well, congratulations.
It just depends on the availability.
I understand. The Price is Right, though. That had to be a very memorable moment in your life.
There's no question. That was a lot of fun, and it was great. It was a fun experience, and it's even more fun winning a dishwasher and a trip to Hawaii than just going there and suffering for hours.
By the way, that price of the dishwasher, what is it, plated with gold or something?
$2K.
I mean, come on.
I mean, seriously, why $2K? $2,000 for a dishwasher. My bid was $1,323. Thankfully, the other people agreed that it would have to be.
They were actually reasonable people and thought it would be lower, right?
I thought it'd be like 800, but in the audience, one Jennifer Latzo was giving me hand signals after doing some research for dishwashers that there's no chance that thing was under 1,500.
Race number 5 is the first of 5 stakes races on today's California Crown. It also begins the $2 pick 6. That's right. We're back to a traditional $2 pick 6 on the races here at Santa Anita. And we're coming down the Hillside Turf Course. This is the Unzip Me Stakes, sponsored or presented by Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance. It's for 3-year-old fillies. There's 2 program scratches, the 2 and the 5. Also take out number 1. That still leaves us with a full field of 11. The revised morning line favorite, number 11, Tupi from the Graham Motion Barn, 2-1 on the morning line. Last seen at Saratoga, you called her race. What do you think about race number 5?
That was certainly a good enough race, but I did not pick her. And in fact, I did pick Dreamfire on top originally.
I did too, believe it or not.
And I thought that I was going to get into this whole speech about how the inside is a terrible post going down the hill. You can't.
But there's not a lot of early speed in the race.
She would have been well spotted, but there's obviously a reason. Once they scratch, you should always be happy you weren't involved, no matter what. If a horse scratches, you didn't want him. So I'm going with a long shot here, and that's the number 13 Wrigleyville out of the Great Glen Hill Mare marketing mix. I couldn't resist with the price of 20 to 1 because I think that when you go down the hill, it's important to have a little bit of route experience or a little bit of stamina, oomph for that final 16th or 8th of a mile. And Wrigleyville, when graduating, went wire to wire at Monmouth, going a mile and a 16th after a good debut over at Gulfstream. And then from that point was in the thick of it until late in a race that really had two closers come from off the pace, and it turned into a race that multiple winners exited and then came back last time. And speaking of Johnny V, he was not at all pleased. I could see his body language when he was walking away after being disqualified on Vino Rouge that day for an incident involving Wrigleyville. That horse did, shift out and interfere with Wrigleyville. Wrigleyville was a little tired at that point, but that was a mile and a 16th. This is about 6.5. I think this is a dangerous participant at a huge price. And I was going to say, originally I picked it actually 110. Then I changed it to 113. And since 13 was my second pick, I didn't want to now go back and say 10-13. But I do think Golden Canary is huge in this race too. If you have not been paying attention to what Mark Cassidy has been doing nationwide, then obviously you're not watching races, because he has been winning everywhere. He's won with prices. He's won with favorites. He has been on an absolute roll throughout the summer, regardless of where his horses show up. So I think the 13 and the 10 both have to be used in another race where you're going to have several with a chance. I have taken two price horses in here in a race that should live up to the excitement level that we anticipate when they run down the hill.
Will be great to see the Silks of Glen Hill Farm and Craig Bernick, who now is in charge of the operations, because their Silks graced the great race place here for many, many years, and it's great to see them supporting the San Anita program, particularly the stakes program. So welcome back, Glen Hill Farm. We hope you bring more runners to Southern California. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. This race is 6 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weight 2-year-old fillies. Scratch the 2 as well as the 3 leaves us with a field of 12. Maury Line favorite number 5, Going Deep from the Doug O'Neill barn, ridden by Edwin Maldonado, 2-1 on the Maury Line. Talk to us about race 6, Frank.
Let me talk about the favorite first, Going Deep. This horse has to be used. Very, very good effort. And now looks like a nice little private purchase, and understandably so. When you watch this replay, this horse made a huge move around the turn, ended up finishing second. It was a gigantic effort, and one that you could certainly expect improvement from. And it would not at all be surprising to see this horse win, and win at a low price. I did, however, go with the 4 Cloudy Rose, who was well backed in her debut at odds of 5-2. And the winner of that race, and this is where Trevor Denman sets himself apart as the all-time greatest in spotting horses and understanding body language. If you watch this replay, you'll hear him talk about We the Free bounding clear early, like within the first 10 seconds, bounding to the front. And then that horse ended up winning, a good-looking first-time starter. So that's where Trevor just understands what he's looking at more than any. This filly took money, and he had her traveling kindly along the rail too. The horse was a little tiny bit green. I know there are people that get obsessed with the lead changing. Well, you will see that she didn't change leads during this process, but I think she was learning. And given all of that, I felt that she was well bet. She ran well, and certainly deserves a look coming right back here, although she's going to have to step it up to defeat number 5, Going Deep. A couple of others that are interesting in here. The 7 You Decide was beaten last time out by a 6-5 shot over at Gulfstream, was up and prompting the pace before being basically in a 3-way photo for second. And the other two, or at least the second place finisher, did come back and win. But this horse has a right to improve. And it's interesting to see Peter Urton training for Glen Hill Farm. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. And I always like when I see new trainers training for new owners. That's an angle I've always liked. And then even the 10, Pavel's Etoile, has been well back throughout. She took on the boys and then lost a little bit of her starch in her final 2 races, but she is going to 6 furlongs here, and certainly has been well regarded with good works from the beginning. So I went 4-5 with possible uses for the 7 and the 10. And remember, I mentioned John Velasquez. He's on a firster with Michael McCarthy. They go way back, those two, from the days where Pletcher was involved. So I think that there are several to go with, but I'm going to focus in on that second-time starter for Victor Garcia.
Race number 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 4 sequence. We're coming down the Hillside Turf Course, but we are going 1.25 miles in distance. It's the California Crown John Henry Turf Championship presented by First Bet. It's a Grade 2 event. The purse is a ambitious $750,000 guaranteed. A good field of 11, including 4 that are trained by Phil D'Amato, one of which is the lukewarm morning line favorite, number 9, Gold Phoenix, who's 7-2 on the morning line, indicating this might be an open race. talk about spread races. This could be another one.
It is, and these are some very familiar horses that a lot of us fans are familiar with. I'm going to go with the 3 Devant Propos, who won his U.S. debut pretty easily. He was hammered down to even money that day when taking care of business. Came back in again as the favorite and disappointed a bit, although, it said he was floated out and such. Then after that, won again. So he's been hammered in all 3 starts. Antonio Fresu and Phil D'Amato teaming up. They've done very well together. And the 9 Gold Phoenix certainly, look, he got a dream ride last time, but that's, again, you just because he got a great ride and a tremendous trip and Kyle Frey being in his zone doesn't mean you have to take anything away from Gold Phoenix. He's won 8 of 21 starts. He's won 2 of his last 3. He did win the Whittingham over this course. He's an extremely classy individual, and there would be no surprise to see him winning this race. I'll tell you the horse I was very disappointed with in his last 2 starts. I actually liked him a lot in both of his last 2 starts.
I know who it's going to be because I liked him too.
The 4.
Yes.
Well, I thought it was a cold exacta Johannes to him. He was terrible that day. And then last time out, loping along in 1:16-2, I just was sitting back ready to look for a Cuban cigar to light before he faded to 5th. So I just have it would not surprise me if I'm now calling him jogging home today in the John Henry after really in being behind him literally and figuratively in his last 2 starts.
What I like though, Frank, is the connections still come back and enter him into this particular spot. In other words, Dickie Dutrow keeps him on the West Coast. He enters him in an ambitious spot, and Juan Hernandez comes back to ride off that disappointing effort because, like you, I liked him last time out. And I thought we were stealing, candy from a baby. And
5-2. Yeah. Seriously. You got the big gray loping along in 16
and then
change.
Nothing.
Big stretch
so
kick.
Maybe there's an excuse. Who knows, right?
One of the excuses could be that he's going back to a mile and a quarter.
Or doesn't like the Del Mar turf course.
Could be anything. But I'm going to be smiling as he's probably going to get blown by everybody today.
Race number 8 begins the new wager here at San Anita, the $3 late pick 3 with a low 15% takeout on the last 3 races on today's card. And we're coming down the Hillside Turf Course, 6.5 furlongs of the distance. It's the Grade 2 California Crown Eddie D Stakes presented by FanDuel. The track record holder, believe it or not, is in this race at 30-1. That would be number 10, Noble Reflection, who appears to be a bit off form right now. But the morning line favorite, the East Coast Invader, drawn right outside of Noble Reflection, number 11. Big Invasion from the Christophe Clement barn. 3-1 on the morning line. Single here or going elsewhere?
I'm going to go elsewhere, but I'm a fan of Big Invasions. If you bet against him, you do not want to see him angling out into the center of the course and with a clear shot at you late because he has a devastating late kick. The question for him is going to be, what will he end up doing in this race, down the hill? And you need a lot of things to go your way down the hill. And so it'll be fun to see what he does. And he does have experience here at Santa Anita Park, and he just missed in an unlucky trip in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint going 5/8. So certainly he is a very nice animal and racing's newest millionaire. I went to the 2 First Piece, one of the most handsome horses you're going to see in the post parades today. He was very disappointing last time out against his old rival Conclude. Conclude beat him and has beaten him before, but he really soundly beat him here. He was very flat going a mile, but this distance of about 6.5, I think, hits him right between the eyes. He is a very good-looking, talented, consistent horse, and I think First Piece has a chance to bounce back at a nice warm 4-1. The 5 King of Gosford made a nice splash coming into the United States with 3 straight victories and has never been higher than 3-1 in his U.S. starts. Today he's off at 15-1 on the morning line for Phil D'Amato and Antonio Fresu. We've already talked about that combination. Those 2 rate a look. There are others in here with a chance. The 6 Air Force Red. I mean, you're getting double-digit price on a horse who's 5 for 14 and 4 for 7 at this distance. Likes this course. Comes off a nice little maybe confidence-building victory going a mile and a 16th last time out. He has the stamina. He has the speed. He's a very good horse, and he's 10-1 to give you an idea of how tough this particular race is. And Johnny Padres is honest and consistent. I think at that price, though, you got to really you got to go elsewhere. I'm gonna go 2-5, but I think 2-5-6 for the use.
4 minutes left to cover 2 races, including the feature race on today's card, which is race number 9, where we're going 1 1/8 on the main track. We also offer $5 late daily double wagering, and we kick things off in race number 9, which is the California Crown Stakes presented by Sir Davis American Whiskey, a Grade 1 event with $1 million guaranteed purse. It's also a Breeders' Cup winning you're in for the Classic division. We've got a field of 6 after the scratch of number 7, Indispensable. Bob Baffert trains 3 of those 6, including the morning line favorite, number 3, National Treasure, who's 8-5 on the morning line. You like one of the one of the Baffert runners, or are you looking elsewhere, Frank?
I like Muth in here. I think Muth, like the fact he's entered in here, it's, you know, his last win. I will say this: when you were watching it visually, if you took 1 to 5, there was definitely some sweat beads on your forehead. But he did finally take care of business. But that was a comeback race for him. I think it sets up for him. I think Muth has always been a horse to, you know, consider as a potential superstar. He has to win today if he's going to come anywhere close to that status. I think he's better than National Treasure. National Treasure was extremely dull last time out. I know the track was off, but he had nothing to offer that day. And I think National Treasure will be overbet. I went 5-2. Subsanador is a dangerous and legitimate threat in here. But if the real Muth that we saw from his debut is able to, you know, finally become who we think he is, all of a sudden I think he becomes a very serious threat for the Breeders' Cup Classic if he does what he should this afternoon.
We close out a spectacular day of racing and entertainment at 5:15 p.m. Pacific time in race number 10, which is the City of Hope Mile presented by My Racehorse, Grade 2 event, $200,000 guaranteed purse. It's a Breeders' Cup Win in Your In mile division. Of course, we're traveling 1 mile in the turf course. We're also offering $1 super high five wagering in race number 10. Scratch the 2, leaves us with a field of 8. Morning line favorite, who is undefeated on the San Anita turf course, is number 3, Johannes, who's 4 to 5 on the morning line. Aggressive morning line, considering the talent in this race. What do you think about the nightcap, Frank?
With about 3 minutes to post in the Eddie Reed, this horse was 5-2. And I texted a few of my friends saying this is the biggest joke I've ever seen, this horse being 5-2. And it's not that they stepped on the gas, but someone did. It certainly wasn't my friends. They might have bet 20 or 50. But Johannes was hammered down to even money and ran accordingly. He's a freak show, and he's supposed to win here, and I think he will. He's just, you know, he is just an amazing athlete. He showed it early in his career with an extremely troubled trip down the hill. He's a privilege to watch and to be able to call, and his best is too much for this field. The 6 Trickery is a very, very consistent son of Oscar performance, and I have him to complete the exacta. But look, they have to run and they have to make it happen. It looks good on paper. And now Johannes, you know, I think you'll get right around 4 to 5, 3 to 5. I don't have any problem with that morning line. I think it's a statement morning line, and it's an accurate one because on paper he towers over this field. He's just look, for him to be able to go 1 mile and 1/8, he's a miler, quote unquote. He went 1 mile and 1/8 and dusted him fiercely. So he's supposed to come back home and do the right thing. Tim Yaktin's done a great job for some really nice owners that are privileged to hear in the post-race interviews. They seem like very nice people. Never met them, but watching them on TV, it just seems like they're good people, and it's nice when good things happen to good people.
Frank, it's a privilege to have you as my seminar guest today on a very important California Crown Day. It's also a pleasure to listen to your race calls, and it's great to have you back home here at San Anita. Have a great day announcing. Thanks so much for the time and insight, and we'll do it again sometime soon.
Thanks for having me, Tom. It's an honor to hang out here, and thanks to all the fans for all your support.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy California Crown Day. It's going to be a great day. We'll do it all again tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to the flagpole in the infield and the winner's circle and welcome Judith Hill, who will perform the Star-Spangled Banner. Multi-instrumentalist, Grammy Award-winning vocalist, and songwriter, Judith Hill has garnered much praise for her live performances as opener for the likes of her former collaborator and mentor, the late, great Prince, and soul man John Legend, among many others. Judith, who wrote her first song at the age of 4, has been praised by Rolling Stone for her, quote, stellar powerhouse vocals. In addition to penning and performing her own material, she has backed artists such as Stevie Wonder and the late Michael Jackson. What a privilege it is, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise to honor America as we proudly present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to California Crown Day at Santa Anita Park, the great race place where the track is fast and the turf course is firm. Here are the changes. In the first race, no scratches or jockey changes. The early pick 5 starts with race 1. There are no changes in race number 2. Just some blinker notes in race 3. The fourth race starts the 50-cent middle pick 4 on races 4, 5, 6, and 7. The fifth is the Unzip Me Stakes presented by Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance. Scratch number 1, Dreamfire. And then scratch numbers 2 and 5 that were programmed scratches. There is now a revised Morning Lion. In the sixth race, scratch 2, Grazen Gator. Scratch number 3, Maria Tall Chief. Keep in mind that the $2 pick 6 starts with the fifth. That fifth race also starts the All Stakes pick 5, which is on races 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Moving on to the seventh, the California Crown John Henry Turf Championship, presented by First Bet. That's leg 1 of a $1 2-day pick 6. Keep in mind the 2-day pick 6 is a $1 offering. Also, leg 1 of the All Turf pick 3 on races 7, 8, and 10. Just the blinker note in race 7. The 8th, the California Crown Eddie D Stakes, presented by FanDuel, Grade 2 event. Blinkers off for number 9. The $3 late pick 3 starts with the 8. That's a new wager. The $5 late double, a new wager this meet, starts with the 9th. The California Crown Stakes presented by Sir Davis American Whiskey. Scratch number 7, Indispensable. And in the 10th, the City of Hope Mile, presented by My Racehorse. A Breeders' Cup win and you're in for the mile division. Scratch number 2, Irideo. The California Crown is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in for the Classic division. Those are the changes on today's spectacular card of racing at Santa Anita Park. Thanks for coming out to enjoy all the entertainment, food, and racing. They'll be at the gate for race 1 in 23 minutes at 12:30.